Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
Remember when TV shows just forgot people existed? Not killed them off in a dramatic plane crash in Switzerland, just straight up pretended they never happened? Like your brain after a particularly embarrassing high school moment? We've already exposed 20 characters in parts 1 and 2 of this series who got the full Thanos treatment from lazy writers, and of course, you'll find those in the description. But your comments turned into a missing persons bureau, and frankly, you've got better memories than most showrunners. So, welcome to part 3, TV characters who vanished into the void faster than your motivation on a Monday morning. And stick around for number 1, because this disappearance was so abrupt, even the laugh track seemed confused. Hit that like button, subscribe, and keep flooding us with "what about this person" comments. We're basically running a support group for abandoned fictional characters at this point. Number 10, Tori Scott, Saved by the Bell. Picture NBC in 1992, halfway through the gang's senior year at Bayside High, when suddenly Kelly and Jesse just weren't there anymore. No explanation, no they're visiting college, just 2 empty desks and the producers scrambling like they'd lost half their cast to the Bermuda Triangle. Their solution was to enter Tori Scott, because nothing fixes missing characters like pretending they never existed and hoping nobody notices. Played by Lianna Creel, Tori rolled into Bayside with motorcycle jackets, leather boots, and a rules are just suggestions attitude that made Mr. Belding nervous and gave Zach Morris his first real competition since that time he almost didn't graduate. She was everything suburban moms feared their daughters would become: confident, rebellious, and completely uninterested in asking permission for anything.
May I help you?
I'm Tori Scott. I'm new here. My advisor said I should clear my schedule with you.
But here's where things got cosmically weird. Instead of writing actual storylines, the show split into parallel universes like a Saturday morning multiverse experiment gone wrong. Some episodes featured Tori as Zach's new love interest. Others had Kelly and Jesse back like nothing happened, but they never ever appeared together. It was like NBC was running 2 completely different shows, hoping nobody would notice they were using the same sets and theme song.
When I wake up in the morning and the alarm gets out of warning, I don't think I'll ever make it on time.
The writers created the most confusing timeline since someone tried to explain the X-Men movies. Tori existed in her own pocket dimension where Kelly and Jesse had apparently been erased from history, while Kelly and Jesse lived in a reality where Tori was just a leather jacket-shaped hole in space-time. When everyone finally returned for the graduation episodes, Tori simply evaporated into the California sunshine. No farewell party at the Max, no see you at the reunion, not even a cameo in the wedding movies. She got less closure than a broken locker combination and disappeared faster than Screech's dating prospects. Lianna Creel clearly made the right call escaping Bayside's temporal anomalies. She traded her bad girl leather for behind-the-scenes success, launching companies like Ignite Entertainment.
You know, I was very fascinated by the producing.
Establishing herself as a respected photographer and director, and proving that sometimes the smartest way to graduate from high school is to literally vanish from it before the writers trap you in an endless loop of senior year shenanigans. Number 9. Dr. Kathryn Pulaski, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Star Trek is supposed to be about boldly going where no one has gone before, but the Next Generation's strangest mission was making an entire chief medical officer disappear without a trace. Dr. Kathryn Pulaski, played by Diane Muldaur, kept the Enterprise crew breathing for a whole season, then vanished like she'd been beamed directly into a plot hole. Here's the thing about Pulaski, she wasn't just Dr. Crusher wearing a different lab coat. Where Crusher was the supportive space mom who never questioned Picard's questionable medical judgment, Pulaski had the bedside manner of a drill sergeant and zero patience for android feelings. She looked at Data's humanity experiments like a parent watching their kid have tea parties with imaginary friends, except the imaginary friend was a walking computer asking, "What is love?" every 5 minutes.
Murderers!
Like hell, you're a damn thief!
Gentlemen, please.
What else can we do?
For an entire season, Pulaski was running sickbay like she owned the place, dealing with alien plagues, impossible medical mysteries, and Data's endless quest to understand why humans cry at commercials. She earned the crew's respect, had actual character development, and seemed like she'd be sticking around to argue with Picard about proper medical protocols for decades. Then season 3 happened, and suddenly Dr. Crusher strolled back onto the bridge like she just stepped out for a really long coffee break. Pulaski? Gone without so much as a transfer complete notation in the ship's log. No farewell party, no thanks for keeping everyone alive while I was mysteriously absent, nothing. Apparently, in the enlightened 24th century, Starfleet's medical staffing policy is 1 doctor per starship, no exceptions. Because nothing says advanced civilization like refusing to have backup medical personnel on a ship that regularly encounters hostile aliens, temporal anomalies, and Wesley Crusher's science experiments. Diana Muldaur went back to guest starring on every show in television history.
I don't resent you, Leland. If anything, maybe I resent myself.
For staying with a man who doesn't love you.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Probably relieved she didn't have to spend 7 seasons explaining to an android why humans don't just download emotional software from the App Store. Sometimes the best career move is escaping before you have to pretend holodeck malfunctions are a legitimate plot device. Number 8. Matthew, A Diff'rent World.
Actors have to identify with anything, even inanimate objects. We do exercises in sensory awareness.
By season 4, A Diff'rent World was tackling colorism, social justice, and campus politics with the intellectual weight of a college thesis. So, naturally, the writers decided to drop in Freddy's random cousin like they were unveiling the latest iPhone at a philosophy conference. Meet Matthew Brooks, the character introduction that had all the fanfare of a product launch and the longevity of a TikTok trend. Matthew, played by Andrew Lowery, arrived from Avery College in a burst of red-headed goofball charm that made everyone wonder why Hillman's admissions department had been holding out on them. His instant banter with Freddy was pure fan gold.
I feel another one of your harebrained schemes coming on.
Yes, you do. Are you in?
Yes, Lucy.
The kind of chemistry that made you think, finally, someone who can keep up with her academic neuroses and still be fun at parties. The writers were practically taking out billboards. Please care about this person. He's got personality, he's got potential romantic subplot energy, he's got 3 episodes of screen time. Then, he was gone faster than financial aid money in the campus bookstore. There was no tearful goodbye scene in the dorm, no I'll call you when I get back to Avery, not even a postcard from wherever the hell he disappeared to. He just vanished like the Pitts jukebox had opened a portal to another dimension and decided Matthew looked like good portal material. This is especially mind-boggling because A Diff'rent World usually treated character exits like they were planning state funerals, complete with heartfelt speeches, emotional group hugs, and enough tears to flood the quad. But Matthew? He got the witness protection treatment without any of the actual protection benefits or paperwork.
Is as important to life as science. How about taking a minute to look up from that microscope and enjoy life?
Oh, I do enjoy it.
Andrew Lowery didn't completely vanish from Hollywood, he just learned the art of strategic career pivoting. He slid into 90s cult classics like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, School Ties, and My Boyfriend's Back before eventually stepping behind the camera to write the indie film Nothing. Turns out disappearing from Hillman College was just his warm-up for scripting other characters' mysterious exits. Sometimes the best education in show business is learning when to make your own exit before the writers do it for you. Number 7. Kimberly Drummond, Diff'rent Strokes. Nothing says family dysfunction like completely forgetting you have a daughter, but the Drummonds managed to pull it off with style. Kimberly, played by Dana Plato, wasn't just part of the furniture, she was the emotional heart of Diff'rent Strokes. The one who made Arnold and Willis feel like real family instead of charity cases. But by season 6, behind-the-scenes drama was messier than Arnold and Willis's bunk beds, and Dana Plato was written out with the laziest excuse in sitcom history. She moved to Paris. No goodbye episode, no I got into the Paris program storyline, just a throwaway line, and poof, no more daughter.
We're concerned that you may have a serious problem, and we want to help you with it.
Daddy, I don't have a problem. I told you I could stop anytime I want, honest.
The really wild part was that in the final seasons, they were all about family bonds and growing up together while completely ignoring that they had an entire family member who just vanished. It's like the Drummonds developed selective amnesia about having 3 kids instead of 2. The show basically performed a lobotomy on its own emotional core and hoped nobody would notice. Spoiler alert, we noticed. You can't just delete a family member like she's an embarrassing Facebook post. Dana Plato's real story became one of Hollywood's most tragic tales. After Diff'rent Strokes, she struggled to find work, appearing mostly in B-movies before her death by suicide in 1999 at the age of 34. Sometimes TV disappearances reflect much darker real-world struggles. Sadly, the series that specialized in heartwarming lessons learned some brutal ones of its own. Number 6. Dr. Grace Miller, Scrubs. At Sacred Heart Hospital, doctors disappear more often than socks in a laundry cycle, but Dr. Grace Miller's vanishing act deserves its own medical journey entry. Portrayed by Bellamy Young years before she became TV royalty as the deliciously ruthless Melly Grant on Scandal,
I was not hoping that she would be blown up today. I am not miserable that she survived.
Miller arrived in Season 3 as the no-nonsense surgeon who could shut down JD's rambling with nothing but a raised eyebrow and surgical precision. She stormed through 5 episodes like a competent tornado, calling out the hospital's casual sexism and somehow making Dr. Cox show actual respect for another human being. In a workplace where most conversations devolved into slapstick and existential crises, Miller was that rare Sacred Heart employee who seemed to remember they were supposed to be saving lives, not just looking cute in scrubs.
Not the crazy where the hell is he going with this ranting, but you know, the gist, the Bob Castle bad part.
Then, she was gone with no transfer paperwork, no farewell drinks at the local dive bar, not even a memo tacked to the staff lounge bulletin board next to the missing one stethoscope flyers. She vanished between seasons like she'd been paged to another dimension and just decided the Wi-Fi was better there. The writers probably realized they'd accidentally created a character who made everyone else look like medical school dropouts and decided one competent doctor per hospital was the legal limit.
Excuse me.
Sometimes you don't even know how it happened.
Sorry, Grace. Sacred Heart's chaos quota was already maxed out with Janitor's elaborate pranks and Todd's inappropriate commentary.
Can I talk to you for a second?
No, I'm busy cleaning.
Bellamy Young clearly made the right call jumping ship before the insanity became terminal. She went on to steal scenes in Grey's Anatomy, CSI Miami, and eventually landed her career-defining role as the ice-cold first lady with a wine habit we could all relate to. Sometimes the smartest medical decision is diagnosing a toxic workplace and prescribing yourself a better job. Now, if you've made it this far without rage pausing to Google whatever happened to that character, you're our kind of people. Hit that like button so we know you're still with us, subscribe so you don't vanish from our storyline, and drop your favorite "wait, where'd they go" character in the comments. You might see them pop up in part 4. Now, back to the disappearing acts. Number 5. Marc Brandanowicz, Parks and Rec. Being the normal guy on Parks and Recreation was like being the designated driver at a party where everyone else is having way more fun. Technically, you're necessary, but ultimately you're forgettable. Marc Brandanowicz, played by Paul Schneider, indie film darling from Almost Famous and All the Real Girls, learned this harsh lesson when the show outgrew its need for a straight man faster than Leslie Knope could say Galentine's Day. Marc was Pawnee's city planner, reliable, earnest, and competent at his job, which made him about as exciting as watching actual city planning meetings.
Have a wood shop, and I'm planning a little expansion. Need my buddy Marc, the city planner, to sign off on the plans.
Sure, I just need to schedule an inspection.
Once Ron Swanson started building canoes and Leslie began treating park construction like it was the moon landing, the show realized it didn't need someone to explain why the jokes were funny.
Apparently tonight I'm the Parks Department's 7th wheel.
After season 2, Marc quietly packed up his blueprints and moved to the private sector, and that was literally the last anyone ever heard of him. No going away party with waffles, no wistful flashbacks during the finale, no "hey remember Marc" throwaway lines in later seasons. The show gave him less fanfare than they gave to Little Sebastian's funeral. The producers originally left the door open for guest appearances, probably thinking they'd miss having one sane person around. But once Ben Wyatt and Chris Traeger arrived with their neuroses and enthusiasm, the show's tone shifted completely. Suddenly, nobody missed Pawnee's most competent employee, which tells you everything about what Parks and Rec valued in its characters. Schneider later admitted he felt creatively sidelined and was eager to return to film and theater work where being the serious, thoughtful guy wasn't a career liability, which turned out to be a smart move. Sometimes the best scene exit is recognizing when you're the only person not in on the joke and quietly showing yourself out before they write you into oblivion. Number 4. Erica Hahn, Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy has sent more doctors to the great hospital in the sky than actual medical school, but Dr. Erica Hahn's exit was special. She didn't die in a freak elevator accident or get eaten by a particularly aggressive deer. She just drove away and achieved something no other Grey's character ever managed, escaping Seattle Grace with a pulse. Brooke Smith's Erica arrived as the brilliant cardiothoracic surgeon who made everyone else look like they'd gotten their medical degrees from a Cracker Jack box. She had the kind of surgical competence that was practically illegal at Seattle Grace, where most procedures seemed to involve more drama than actual medicine.
And by interesting, I mean ridiculously attractive. Do you hire on looks alone?
Then, Season 4 delivered something revolutionary for 2008 network TV, a same-sex relationship with Callie Torres that actually treated LGBTQ+ storylines with respect instead of cheap shock value. Audiences were invested, critics were praising the representation, and everything was going great until ABC allegedly got cold feet faster than someone walking barefoot through Seattle's eternal rain.
Tell Stevens to find me so I can permanently throw her off my service.
Dr. Hahn, I know you have a history with this patient, but in a weird way, Izzy does too.
A history? With my patient?
Creative differences, they announced, which is Hollywood speak for the network executives had a collective panic attack. Brooke Smith said she was floored by the decision, while Shonda Rhimes insisted it wasn't about the relationship, it was about chemistry. Sure, Shonda, and McDreamy's hair was naturally that perfect. So, in one episode, Erica walks to her car after a fight with Callie and vanishes into the Seattle fog forever. No farewell speech, no transferring to another hospital explanation, just car keys and crickets in the next script. In a show where characters routinely die from plane crashes, bomb explosions, and homicidal patients, Hahn pulled off the impossible. She escaped by Toyota and lived to tell about it. Somewhere else, where we couldn't watch. Brooke Smith clearly dodged a scalpel-shaped bullet. She went on to steady work in Bosch, Bates Motel, Big Sky, and The Good Fight. Jobs where the biggest occupational hazard was bad catering, not surprise medical disasters. Sometimes the healthiest career move is diagnosing a toxic workplace and prescribing yourself an immediate transfer. Number 3. Gwen Grandy, The Mindy Project. Every chaotic main character needs that one friend who screams normal life. The married suburbanite with a kid, a picket fence, and the kind of domestic bliss that makes you simultaneously envious and terrified you're wasting your 20s. On The Mindy Project, that reality anchor was Gwen Grandy, played by Anna Camp, who served as Mindy's voice of reason until reason apparently got too expensive to maintain. Gwen had everything Mindy thought she wanted. A husband who didn't ghost her after 3 dates, a baby who wasn't conceived during a medical conference hookup, and the kind of stable life that looks amazing on Instagram, but probably involves way too many conversations about mortgage rates and preschool waiting lists. She was Mindy's designated grown-up friend, the one who could talk her out of texting her ex at 2 a.m. or pursuing yet another emotionally unavailable doctor.
You think everyone's borderline racist?
Gwen, we should listen to her, all right? She is the worldly one.
But by the tail end of Season 1, Gwen just evaporated. She guest starred once more in Season 2's Mindy's Birthday, then vanished into suburban anonymity forever. No dramatic friend breakup, no I'm moving to Connecticut explanation, just radio silence louder than Mindy's biological clock. Behind the scenes, Anna Camp had asked to step back, wanting room to audition for bigger roles, which, let's be honest, was probably the smartest career move since someone decided to leave boy bands before they became has-beens. Meanwhile, Gwen's off-screen fade left a show supposedly centered on friendship feeling increasingly hollow, like Mindy had been surgically separated from her entire pre-New York existence. By Season 3, Mindy was acting like she'd never had friends outside of work, which is depressing even by romantic comedy standards.
Mindy, don't jump to conclusions. You don't know the whole situation.
The situation, Danny, is that my boyfriend is cheating on me.
Now, come on. The lying in bed, the whole San Antonio of it all, there's a million different... Yep, he cheated on you.
The show basically performed a lobotomy on its own premise and hoped nobody would notice that their supposedly relatable heroine had become a person without a past or a present that made any sense.
Probably like right here in your husband's weird den. Because I'm a mess, Gwen.
You know, Mindy? Yeah. You're acting like a huge bitch.
Oh, I'm acting like a bitch?
Yeah, bitch.
Let's dance.
Let's.
Anna Camp definitely didn't disappear. She soared into the Pitch Perfect franchise and landed major roles in True Blood, proving that sometimes the smartest exit strategy is writing yourself out before the writers do it for you. Meanwhile, Mindy was left navigating life without anyone to tell her when her romantic schemes had crossed the line from quirky into restraining order territory. Number 1. Lana Shields, Three's Company. Nothing screams we're completely winging it here, like introducing a sexually aggressive cougar to Three's Company and then pretending she never existed faster than a network exec deleting an embarrassing email. Meet Lana Shields, the scene-stealing neighbor who made Mrs. Roper look like a shy wallflower and then vanished before home video fans could even figure out which DVD she belonged on. And Wedgeworth, a Tony Award-winning powerhouse who deserved way better than chasing John Ritter around an apartment complex, brought Lana to life as a thrice-divorced department store buyer with zero shame about her interest in Jack Tripper. She first appears in Season 4's Love Thy Neighbor, right when Jack is moonlighting as an escort, because apparently the writers thought, you know what this wholesome family sitcom needs? Our main character literally being a male prostitute.
Listen. Yes.
Lana instantly moves in next door and locks onto Jack with all the subtlety of a heat-seeking missile programmed by a very horny military contractor. The writers thought they'd struck comedy gold. Lana chases Jack, Ralph Furley chases Lana, everyone runs around in circles like a sexually frustrated Three Stooges routine, and on paper it probably sounded brilliant. In reality, it was fool's gold wrapped in desperation.
Just be quiet and act natural. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, go let him in.
Jack, let him in. Are you kidding?
Just let him in.
Okay, I'll let him in. All right.
Behind the scenes, John Ritter pushed back hard, pointing out that it made zero sense for his supposedly womanizing character to be completely turned off by a confident older woman who was literally throwing herself at him. The writers actually agreed, shocking, since listening to their lead actor's concerns about character consistency was apparently optional in the 1980s, but the real problem was simpler. Lana was too adult for a show that built its empire on innocent bedroom farces and Jack's totally not gay we swear misunderstandings. She brought an energy that made everyone uncomfortable. It was like watching your aunt get a little too flirty at Thanksgiving dinner.
Jack, darling.
Oh, hi, Lana. I was just taking a nap.
You must come over to my apartment with me and help me change my light bulb.
Then, like a cosmic sitcom sneeze, Lana simply evaporates from existence. Her final scene comes in a black letter day where she storms off after dumping a drink on Jack's head at the Regal Beagle over some misunderstood Dear Abby nonsense. No see you later, no throwaway line about moving to Boca Raton, no forwarding address. She just wasn't there anymore. Behind the scenes, Wedgeworth wasn't fired. She actually requested her release when her role shrank to practically nothing, which tells you everything about how the writers handled damage control. Smart woman. She went on to deliver unforgettable performances in Steel Magnolias and anchored the cast of Evening Shade, proving that sometimes the best career move is recognizing when you're about to get written into sitcom oblivion and showing yourself the exit before the writers do it for you. And that's our roll call of characters TV shows just forgot. Which one had you yelling at the screen, and who did we leave off the list? Tell us in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more trips through TV's weirdest history. And until next time, this is Remember When.